Welcome to my channel, Literary Aesthetics, where we explore the hidden meanings behind words and the beauty within literature. Today, we continue with Emily Brontë's timeless novel, Wuthering Heights, focusing on chapters 11 through 14. In these chapters, emotional turmoil within both households deepens, and the consequences of unchecked passion begin to take a heavy toll. I will start from summaries of all these 4 chapters and will move towards their analysis and major themes further, so watch the video till the end. The story begins with Nellie visiting Wuthering Heights to check on Hareton. She finds him growing wild and uncivilized, more like a servant than a child, shaped by the harshness and cruelty that have overtaken the household. Hindley, broken by drink and grief, has lost all control, while Heathcliff's influence dominates every corner of the estate. The boy, imitating his guardian's mannerisms, reflects the damaging cycle of cruelty passed from one generation to the next. Nellie attempts to guide him, but the harshness has already left its mark. Returning to Thrushcross Grange, Nellie finds Catherine in turmoil. Furious at her husband for speaking against Heathcliff, she demands that he accept the man who continues to haunt her life. The tension between Edgar and Heathcliff reaches a boiling point, and in a rare moment of physical confrontation, Edgar slaps him, a gesture that escalates hostility rather than calming it. Catherine, overwhelmed by the mounting conflict, locks herself away, beginning a spiral of emotional and physical collapse. As the next chapter unfolds, Catherine's decline deepens. She refuses food, becomes mentally unstable, and drifts into hallucinations that transport her back to her childhood at Wuthering Heights. Ghostly images appear in mirrors, and she behaves deliriously, tearing at pillows, speaking in fragments. Edgar, though alarmed, cannot penetrate the chaos of her mind, and their fractured marriage becomes painfully clear. Amidst this, Isabella confesses her infatuation with Heathcliff, ignoring warnings that his heart is consumed not by love, but by revenge. Heathcliff, sensing the turmoil, manipulates events from a distance, his presence looming like a gathering storm. In chapter 13, Catherine slowly regains her stability, eating and speaking once more, though the psychological conflict within her remains unresolved. Edgar, softened by concern, stays close, yet the emotional distance between them persists. Meanwhile, Isabella's absence is revealed. She has eloped with Heathcliff. The household reels. Edgar, humiliated and wounded, severs all ties, declaring her effectively dead to him. The elopement strengthens Heathcliff's power, using Isabella's naivety as a weapon against both households, while Catherine's recovery offers only a fragile and temporary calm. Chapter 14 brings a stark reality to Isabella's life at Wuthering Heights. Nellie visits her at Edgar's request, discovering a young woman pale, frightened, and emotionally drained. Isabella reveals the full horror of her marriage: Heathcliff's violent temper, Hindley's drunken rages, and the chaos and filth of the Heights. She understands that her union was never about love, but a tool for Heathcliff's revenge against Edgar. The man she married ignores her almost entirely, using her as a pawn, while his obsession with Catherine intensifies. Nellie leaves with a sense of dread, carrying the truth back to Thrushcross Grange, exposing the ever-growing reach of Heathcliff's control. These chapters offer rich ground for critical analysis. Catherine's divided self becomes increasingly evident, torn between her wild, instinctive nature and the civilized life she married into. Heathcliff's transformation into a tyrant is shown in his cruel domination of both Hareton and Isabella, reflecting a cycle of vengeance that mirrors his own childhood suffering. Edgar's weakness highlights the limits of civility, when faced with raw passion and violence, and the domestic harmony of Thrushcross Grange begins to crumble. Catherine's imprisonment, both mental and physical, symbolizes her inner conflict and growing isolation. Her illness and delirium are more than physical, they reflect a fractured identity, guilt, and the impossibility of reconciling desire with societal expectation. The Gothic atmosphere intensifies, with hallucinations, stormy emotions, and a sense of looming tragedy, while Isabella's naive romanticism foreshadows her disastrous fate. Heathcliff's silent power pervades, orchestrating suffering even in his absence. As Catherine slowly recovers, Edgar's vulnerability becomes apparent. He cannot fully protect or understand the emotional chaos, and Isabella's elopement exposes the fragility of social order. Heathcliff's calculated revenge tightens his grip over both households, manipulating emotions, exploiting weaknesses, with terrifying patience. Gothic horror reaches its peak, as Wuthering Heights becomes a prison of violence, chaos, and psychological torment, with Isabella trapped and Nellie powerless to intervene. The major themes that emerge from these chapters are profound. Love clashes with social class, wild passion confronts civilized restraint, and power and control dictate the lives of those within the Heights and the Grange. Catherine's yearning for freedom, and her imprisonment in societal and marital expectations, highlights the destructive tension between desire and duty. Domestic life proves fragile, abusive relationships reveal the darkest aspects of obsession, and romantic illusions shatter under harsh reality. In conclusion, chapters 11 through 14 mark a pivotal turning point in Wuthering Heights. Emotional conflict erupts into irreversible damage. Catherine's breakdown, Edgar's helplessness, and Isabella's elopement intertwine with Heathcliff's relentless rise to power. Brontë shifts the story from inner tension to outward tragedy, showing how unchecked passion and vengeance consume everyone connected to Wuthering Heights. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into literature, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Literary Aesthetics for more insights into your favorite books and authors. Until next time, keep reading, and keep exploring the world of words.